Royal Warriors coming out to the ring right now. Rod the King is livid, and he's upset after last week the Royal Warriors lost the tag team titles, and he has a mic at hand. Consequences. That's all I've been hearing lately. Consequences. Consequences. Last week we lost the titles. The tag team titles. The titles that I helped win. And the title that I gave to my own compadre here, Rod the Great. And what ended up happening? Well, you see, when the Royal Warriors have gold, our image shines bright. But when we lose some gold, well, it does the opposite. It makes us look bad. It makes us, me, the king. It makes the Royal Warriors not look so royal. So, consequences. Rod? Look at me. Look at me!
Yes, King.
You need to be put under trial. This is the Royal Warriors, which means as your king, I can make the royal court. And so this is the first ever royal court. And Poseidon hits Rod the Great and puts him on the ground. And Rod the King holds him by his shoulder. And Poseidon holds Rod the Great by the other shoulder. And Rod the King with the mic in hand says, "You are put under trial in the royal courts. And there will be an executioner. And that executioner is..." Uh-oh. Adik, the Destroyer. And he's coming out and he has a hammer at hand. And he looks mean. And he looks scary. And no one knows how his face looks like. And that man has a hammer at hand. They put Poseidon and Rod the King put Rod the Great on one of those tables. They put his head there to get hit. Adik the Destroyer has a hammer at hand. And that's when Ron the King goes on to say, "You are under trial in the royal courts. You will get your head smashed in because of what you did in last week, losing the tag team champions. So you have one thing left to give and give up, and that is the Giant Championship. So, Adik the Destroyer, he's either gonna smash your head in, or Rod the Great is gonna defend his Giant Championship tonight. What do you say, Rod?" And Rod then goes on to say,
"I'm not scared of a challenge. I just don't want to let anybody down anymore."
And then that's when Poseidon and Ron the King just let him go. Adik the Destroyer destroys the table right in front of him as Rod the Great scurries back. Then that's when Rod the King looks at Rod and says, "Do not disappoint this group again." And he drops the mic and he walks away. And Poseidon walks with him, the right-hand man of the Royal Warriors. And then we see Rod the Great holding his giant championship as he just walks past Adik the Destroyer, which means in the main event tonight, made official by GM Jerry Woods, it is Rod the Great defending his giant championship against two mystery men. We will find out who will win tonight and who those mystery men will be in the main events. But first, Ahmed, Magomed, Platon, and Steel Babu are going head to head for the number one contenders match for the multinational championship, in which Womanizer currently holds. Irvin Lawrence has earned a number one contender spot after beating both Ahmed was it? No, it was Big Papa Aziz and Jabari Ferrari. Irvin Lawrence earned that number one contender spot for the multinational. Who's going to be the second number one contender between Ahmed, Platon, and Steel Balboa for the multinational championship? It is Ahmed Magomed, which means Irvin Lawrence, Ahmed, and the Womanizer will fight each other for the multinational championship, ladies and gentlemen.
Aquaman Smash.
It's the Goldberg entrance. Becky's the new champion. Makes sense.
Told you.
Yeah, they want someone that's trustworthy to carry on the momentum.
Up next, it is Hollow and Blackhawk going head to head. Jerry Woods made it official earlier in the night. Hollow and Blackhawk, who's going to get the victory? It is. After a fireball to Blackhawk's face, Hollow ends up hitting the Sister Abigail and wins the match as Blackhawk goes absolutely crazy. Keep in mind, Chicago cannot touch the Joker's crew, and Hollow just disappears from the middle of the ring, and Blackhawk, still going absolutely crazy, does not know what is happening, and ends up taking the loss against Hollow. Hollow, who's in a streak of his own, has 3 wins in his young IUW career. But up next, ladies and gentlemen, it is the main event. Rod the Great defending his giant championship against two mystery men. Who will they be? We'll find out next.